What's up, guys? Let me know if y'all can hear me. So my dog is like going ham on some like bone that I gave him. So apologies if you can hear him, but I think he'll calm down. I think he is gonna sleep soon, so I think it'll be all right. How's everyone doing today? It's the new month. It's August. Pretty crazy. I kind of started covering yield farming videos, I think like mid to late August, and I'm very grateful for all the support that I've received and for the growth of my channel. So hopefully we can keep this going. Let's all be humble yield farmers, take profits, and just pursue good opportunities. So I'm gonna give people a few more minutes to tune in, and then I'll get started on what everyone wants to hear: the bull and bear case for Dinoswap, and starting to think about when to take profits. Are you sure your dog? All right, come here. Come on. He's a little pug. His name is Kage. It stands for lots of hair in Japanese, because he sheds a lot. But he's a good boy. He turns 2 next month. Oh, no, he turns 2 this month actually, because it's August. I think the 20th is his birthday. I think he's mostly gonna be sleeping tonight or today. All right. So you're probably gonna hear him running around because he's just hyper. But anyways, I'm gonna try not to get distracted. Let's get into the bull and bear case for Dinoswap. Yeah, so sorry if you can hear him. Okay, so obviously it's good to he's so loud. Obviously it's good to think about what could potentially go wrong. What could potentially go wrong when you have your capital allocated to a farm, right? So let's go over what could go wrong and what could go right, because it's easy to get all bowled up when things are going up, but let's all be humble here, right? Let's think about both sides of the equation. So, like I said, it's been 16 days since I've been in it. My bullish thesis has played out pretty well, but yeah, let's be humble. A little fun thought exercise is on the 13th of June, I did the bull and bear case for Iron Finance, right? Remember when Titan was going from $1 to $60 in a period of a week? It was insane. And this video was essentially 4 days prior, or no, 3 days prior to the collapse. So who knows, right? Maybe this history repeats. I don't think so, because Titan was a Ponzi to begin with. So I don't think Dino, the tokenomics, it's not gonna cause a collapse, but who knows, right? I mean, fighting my own bags here. But just as a quick recap before I get into both sides, let's just go over what my bullish thesis was, just so we're all on the same page. So, and yeah, full disclosure, I've been farming this since it launched, so I do have a bullish bias. With Iron Finance, I had an objective point of view, but with Dino, I am a little bit more bullish just because I'm in it, right? So, obviously, it's a new yield farm, and essentially my bullish thesis was that, hey, a bunch of good VCs are in this, right? Hash Group, Defiance, DFG, and the Spartan Group, they all have 9 figures under management. They're one of the biggest DeFi VCs in the space. So if they're putting their money behind this, then there must be a reason, right? It's not just some ordinary farm, right? Because it's uncommon for a farm to receive funding from notable VCs. Also, they have funding from angels and advisors. Sandeep from Polygon, Do Kwon of Terra, right? I predicted that there would be some Terra partnership, right? And there was one, right, with UST. And they also received a grant from Harmony 1, right? So you can expect that there's going to be a new farm, whether it be an extinction pool, Jurassic pool, fossil farm, etc. There's probably going to be one for Harmony, right? It's just, why would Harmony give them money if they didn't have these plans in mind? So I guess on the short term, we can expect a Harmony partnership and maybe more. They also talked about a roadmap of having gamification and whatnot. We can expect that, but in the mid to long term, who knows, right? I mean, it's only been 16 days. Like, it's really, we're simply speculating about like the long-term viability of this farm. And with all the investors, they have the resources, they have like all these, like, all the funding, and with the tokenomics, right? Like 15% is to the investors, 14% to the team, and these tokens are vested over 12 months, right? So every single day they're getting a fixed amount of tokens until 12 months, then like they no longer receive tokens. So, you know, the team and the investors, they have an incentive to keep the price of the token up, right? I'm not saying it's going to pump and go to the moon, but, you know, relatively stable, right? My thesis has been the Stegosaurus, where the price remains like in between like $2 to $4, right? $2 to $5, whatever. Where like farmers will just make a lot of money just because the token is maintaining its price. Like I said, like these investors, like they're not going to want to like lose money from this. That's not to say that it can't happen, right? Like they can like not all investments make a profit, but, you know, it's in their best interest, and they have the resources and they have the money, and, you know, they are going to be shilling this project most likely in the future. And they, like Do Kwon and Harmony, right? Like they're not investing, or they haven't given money to Dinoswap to make money, right? Do Kwon already has a bunch of money. His incentive is to, I guess, increase exposure for his ecosystem, right? To build excitement for it. The UST pool already has like 60 million or 70 million TVL, right? So there's a lot of money coming from outside Polygon into Polygon as a result, right? Which is also the reason Sandeep wants this project to succeed. Same can be said for Harmony 1. So I said that I don't know what the vesting, or I don't know like what kind of discount the investors got in at, but, you know, I feel like farming it since day one is going to be plus EV, and so far it has been plus EV. I don't know if it's good to get in now. Like, I simply do not know. You have to do your own research, but, you know, I'm coming from the position of, okay, let's farm this on the day of launch and see how long I can milk this. So that's been my bullish thesis. And that being said, I'll dive into the bear case first, right? Because let's get the bad news out of the way, and so I can pump some bullish hopium into your veins. And then after that, I'll get into some profit-taking strategies. I know a lot of people are asking questions, but let me just get through the entire presentation, and then I'll take questions from the audience. Yeah, so Stegosaurus, this is my thesis since day one. Hopefully this plays out. I mean, if it plays out to the upside, then I'm not complaining, right? I don't mind being wrong and making more money in the process. But I still think the Stegosaurus will remain true. I don't know, like, I drew this thing in like 5 seconds, right? Like, I'm not really putting weight to like how long, I'm not making predictions on how long it'll last. But, you know, the earlier you get in, the better. And I guess I should mention, none of this is financial advice. I'm just some random dude on the internet talking about dinosaurs, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the bear case, because we have to be humble, right? Like, we are retail investors. We are humble retail farmers, right? We're not privileged, and we don't get to be in the meeting rooms with these VCs, with the team. We don't know what's going on. So, you know, coming from a more humble perspective is more conservative, I think. And, you know, I guess with farming, like taking small wins over time, like you're just going to build your stack, right? I guess with Dino, whoever's like followed me since day one has done well, but just because something has done super well in the past 16 days doesn't mean that it'll continue, right? So let's be humble. Let's think about the downside. What could potentially go wrong? So I'll start with the obvious one first. It's like, we simply do not know what deal the VCs got, right? I speculate, I feel like if it's vested over 12 months, my assumption is that like maybe it'll take like at least 2 months for them to turn a profit, right? But I'm just speculating, right? Like, I have no idea. I don't really know how these agreements are like, I don't really know how these agreements are structured. So maybe the bearish case is like, maybe it only takes 1 month for them to turn a profit. And, you know, if they want to like buy the dip on some altcoin or DeFi coin that, let's say, Defiance or Spartan Group, like they want exposure to, maybe they're going to sell off their Dino tokens as like a form of liquidity to buy like some ETH or Bitcoin DeFi, like whatever, right? So this is always the bearish case. This was the case for Iron Finance, right? Like a few whales sold off and it was over, right? Because it kind of ended in like a downward spiral. I don't think Dino is going to have a downward spiral like Iron Finance did, right? Just because Iron Finance, their tokenomics was a pure Ponzi. Dino is it's just a farm tokenomics, right? It's not a pure Ponzi. It's just like it's high inflation, so farmers make a lot of money, and the team tries to build like deflationary mechanics to try to offset the high inflation. So far, it's worked, but you never know. Like one big sell from an entity can also be really harmful. Yeah, and also I do want to note that in the original documentation, 15% of, I guess, tokens are going to investors and advisors, right? So like whatever the token emission is today, like 15% goes to the investors. However, in my discussion with Cole0x, I think this is one of my most underappreciated podcasts. I suggest everyone give it a listen, because a lot of funds, a lot of venture capitalists, they farm, right? Because they have a lot of capital. They can't just like keep buying things, right? There's always going to be like some leftover capital that they have in the bank account, or whatever, like in their like DeFi account or whatever, and they're going to allocate it into several yield farms. So I think this will give a good overlook on how VCs think about yield farming, right? As Cole is enjoying sparkling water, Topo Chico, whatever. And if you see Hashed Group, right? Hashed is also one of the investors in this project, and Dino has said that their anchor fund, Hashed, has been providing liquidity to our core Dino pair, meaning that Cole is also doing this. Cole is also providing liquidity. He mentioned in the podcast. So these VCs, their investors, they're essentially taking like whatever tokens that they're receiving and putting it back into the ecosystem, providing liquidity to farm more Dino tokens, right? So though the documentation says 15% to investors and advisors, I think that the real number, right, because they're farming more, it might be 20%, 25%, right? I don't know, right? But it's a good framework to think about. The investors and advisors actually have more tokens than what the documentation says. Now you can interpret this in many ways. Like the bearish case is like, okay, like VCs have more tokens, so when they dump like the tokens, will just like we're all gonna get wrecked, right? Like that's like the bearish take. But the bullish take is, like they're actually providing liquidity in the native pool, right? The risky pool. So maybe that's like a sign of confidence, right? Maybe they're actually mid to long-term bullish, and they're just like trying to farm as much of these tokens as they can, right? And if that's the case, then as a humble retail yield farmer, I'm excited, right? Obviously, like we don't know, but it's good to think about, right? Like what are the VCs doing? In the most recent dump, I guess for Dino, like the Dinoswap team said that like none of the team and the VCs sold, like they're long-term committed. Obviously, like it's coming from the team, so it's going to be naturally bullish. But it does sound pretty bullish. The investors do sound pretty bullish. Maybe they're talking their book, but I think it's a good thing to think about. The next bearish case for Dino is market volatility, right? We saw this, I think, like last week when Bitcoin started having this, the 10%, like the green dildo, the candle. Like people sold their Dino to buy more Bitcoin, right? Because I mean, as bullish as I am on Dino in the short term, like this is not a long-term hold for me. Like if I were to enter a 1-year coma, there is no way in hell I am gonna hold on to the Dino token, right? I'm gonna buy more Bitcoin or ETH with it, right? Because like I think there's like it's a safer bet essentially. So though the yield farm right now is doing really, really well, if the markets like turn bullish immediately, then rest assured people will be selling Dino tokens. They're going to be pulling liquidity, converting their Dino or USDC into, I guess, more volatile assets, right? And we saw this right here, right? This was caused by the Bitcoin pump, right? And we saw this on the way up, so it's fair to assume that it'll happen again. Like imagine tomorrow Bitcoin goes up to like 46K or something, right? Something crazy. Well, I'm pretty sure this is gonna happen, right? Which is fine. I mean, it's expected. People gotta do what they gotta do, but that's a thing. And like I mentioned, like even though there was a huge dump, people were like, "Oh, did the VCs sell out?" And on the 25th of July, Raptor from the Dinoswap team said, "Hey, like we track all the wallets, no one sold. Don't worry." And I guess that gave confidence in the markets to go back up again. So we can argue that a low volatility market is best for Dino price, just because that means that no one is like leaving Dinoswap, right? Because I think right now the TVL is like 520 million or something. And the goal is for the liquidity to stay there, right? And the best chances of that happening is a low volatility market, right? If the market just goes sideways, then it's most likely that, or it's more likely that people will stick to Dinoswap and just, stack yields. Yeah. The third bearish case for Dino is, I guess, like betting on a team, right? I don't know who the devs are. They're anonymous. I know that like they dox themselves to the investors, right? Like there's no way that, Defiance and like Spartan Group will give money to some random like anonymous developers, right? So they for sure, like the VCs for sure know who the team is. The angels definitely know who the team is. And like, I don't know how legit they are, but so far, like they've been shipping products. Their communication has been great. So, but you can argue that like, hey, like they're running out of partnerships. Like if the team doesn't execute, then it's bad for Dinoswap. Because I guess one of the metrics that VCs will most likely look for is that if the team stops executing, then the VCs will most likely start to de-risk. Because I'm sure the VCs have some like model within their own team where like, okay, like if this happens, then we'll hold. If this happens, we'll like start to de-risk. So you want to see metrics like DAU, like daily active users, go up. And yeah, essentially like you want to bet on the team executing. And so far, like I wouldn't bet against the team. Because like the UST partnership, I think is one of the more bullish things that could happen to Dinoswap, like a really good stablecoin pool with combining with the Jurassic pool where you can stake your Dino and earn stablecoins, right? I mean, I can imagine a lot of people doing that, which reduces sell pressure. I think this is one of the last bearish cases, or this is the second to last one actually. And I hear this a lot, like TVL is getting too high, it's headed towards a crash. And I mean, I kind of get like this is like a lazy take, right? It's like, oh, TVL is high, so like it has to go down. Like that. I mean, we all know that's not how things actually work, right? It's like if TVL keeps going up, then like why are you betting on it stopping? It's more likely that like Newton's law of physics, like what things that stay in motion tend to stay in motion. Or maybe I butchered the exact linguistics there, but you get the point. I took the screenshot last night. It was like 515 million. I guess like a good comp is like Iron Finance. Like before, this is June 14th, so this was like 2 days before the collapse. Iron Finance got to $2 billion TVL. It's comparing apples to oranges, right? Because Iron Finance was like a stablecoin farm, and Dino is a little different. And Iron Finance was just like a Ponzonomic tokenomics that just created a bunch of euphoria in the market. Mark Cuban was in this, so. I think it's, I don't know how likely Dinoswap will get to 2 billion, like maybe, but maybe 2 billion is like getting to the point where, okay, like maybe it's due for a slowdown. Because I mentioned this in June with my Iron Finance stake, is that the amount of liquidity that Dinoswap can, I guess, attain is kind of limited to the amount of liquidity on the entire Polygon ecosystem, right? Right now, the TVL is roughly $9 billion on Polygon. So if it gets to, let's say, I'm just going to use round numbers. Like if Dinoswap TVL gets to 3 billion and Polygon TVL is at 9, that's already 33% of the liquidity that's gone into Dinoswap, right? Like how far up can like they go from that at that point, right? Like at that point, like you have to be prudent and take profits at that point, right? Obviously, 500 million in Dinoswap, 9 billion in Polygon TVL. Yeah, there is room to go up, but it's good to know. It's always good to track how much TVL there is in the Polygon ecosystem, because if this goes up, then that's great. I think Binance enabled Matic withdrawals from the centralized exchange to Polygon, which is really good. You get to skip this step of going through Ethereum. That might do well with like the Asian audience. So that could also be a bullish take. But if the TVL gets too high, that isn't as good, right? But 500 million, I wouldn't argue is that high. I mean, it's high, but it's not like 2 billion for Iron Finance. The last bearish case for Dino is if real layer 2 comes online for Ethereum without any hiccups. Because I covered Arbitrum, I think back in May or like early June or something, about like how, okay, if Arbitrum goes online, I'm going to be moving some of my money from Polygon to Arbitrum. Just because I think Arbitrum or Optimism, right? Like real layer 2, it's going to gather more TVL than Polygon, right? Because Arbitrum and Optimism, they're actually like a decentralized scaling solution. Matic isn't decentralized, right? It's like owned by the bunch of the Matic team, which I'm totally okay with. I don't think the Matic team is like malicious in any way, but you know, more TVL will go to Arbitrum than on Polygon. Like I'm pretty confident in that, because if you're a whale and you're moving like $50 million like around, let's say, like would you rather put your money on, you know, a decentralized scaling solution or a centralized scaling solution? I think decentralized scaling solution. So you know, I guess it's good for Polygon that Arbitrum has been delayed, just because it's given more time for Polygon to have more partnerships, build more apps, and I guess like keep shipping like new products. I think the Polygon team has done a pretty good job, I guess, creating excitement for their ecosystem. Like all the farms since April has been great, and you know, I don't really see it stopping anytime soon. So yeah, if this thing comes out tomorrow, then I think that's relatively bearish for Dino, or just anything, or any farm in Polygon ecosystem. I think that's a controversial take, but I think I think it's true. Okay, so we went over some bearish takes. I don't know how I don't know if it's like actually that bearish. I feel like I kind of put a bullish tint on all of it, but like I said, I am net bullish Dino Swap. So let me know if I like missed any points. Obviously, I didn't go over like hacks, exploits, and like smart contract risk, because that's the case for everything, right? Like, yeah, like that could happen. But given the investors, given how much money they have, like I don't really think those hard rug risks are there. But you know, that's just me. Okay, so now let's pump some bullish hopium into our veins. Like what can keep this thing going, right? What can keep this thing going? Let me check the chat. All right. So, as I mentioned, in the bearish take, the team has to execute, right? I think given the resources, they have a little under $5 million in funding. That's a lot of money, right, for like a small development team. And with all the resources that they have, like with the VCs, they just have access to resources that, you know, the smaller teams, the other farms just don't have. So, for example, like Dinoswap got free marketing from Do Kwon and like Terra, right? So they were able to, I guess, increase brand awareness for Dinoswap through like shared posts with the Terra ecosystem, and I'm sure the same thing will happen for Harmony. So I do think that they're gonna keep shipping, at least in the next couple of weeks. I can't really say for sure, like in September and stuff, just because I don't know I don't know what they're building. Yeah, so Harmony. They did mention this roadmap. Like Dinoswap team is building out key infrastructure to boost Dino utility. Here's a recap from the roadmap from like the AMA that they did like a week or two ago. Dinoswap AMM. Like I don't know how bullish I am on like a Dinoswap AMM. Like why would they build their own AMM when they can just make use of the existing infrastructure, right? Because right now they're just taking liquidity from SushiSwap, QuickSwap, and like Define network. Like why would I don't really see a point in creating your own AMM at this point. Maybe I'm like too short-sighted. Maybe there's like an actual use case if like this thing is actually multi-chain, right? But you know, I'd rather the team focus on partnerships than to build their own AMM. That's just my take though. Multi-chain bridge. I mean, I don't really know what this means. Like, are they actually trying to build a bridge? I mean, if so, I don't know how bullish that is either. Like, just because a project has a bridge doesn't mean that value will go to the token. Maybe you have to bridge using Dino tokens. Well, then yeah, like that'll create utility, but who knows? Non-burn Dino pool, they already have that. Tar pits with enhanced returns, I think they already did that. Gamification products. So this is gonna be like lottery, right? And like betting on the price of Dino and stuff. I think they're just ripping this off from PancakeSwap, which, you know, if it works, I'm fine with. And then governance integration. Like, I'm not that bullish on governance. I feel like why have retail plebs and retail farmers and like investors like vote what happens to the protocol? I feel like in the first couple of months, the team should like make all the decisions just because they're more experienced. Generally, like I'm not that bullish governance tokens, but I mean, it's a bullet point that they included just because I guess people get excited for it, right? Like if governance integration gets more people to like hold on to the token, then yippee hooray, right? But if anything, like I think gamification is the most bullish thing out of this, just because there's gonna be like features where like you can like bet Dino tokens in hopes for like a higher payout, etc. Basically, just ripping off a pancake swap. And I'm very proud of this bullish case for Dinoswap that I don't think anyone is considering. Iron Finance is in my opinion, I think is headed towards a gradual decline in TVL dominance. I think right now Iron has more TVL than Dino. I think last time I checked it was like at 600 million, but I don't really see this continuing. So if Iron Finance is headed towards a gradual decline, then where are all those farming dollars going to go to? And obviously, like my thesis is I think it's going to go to Dinoswap, because the whole argument for Iron Finance and putting your capital there is for stablecoin yields, right? I think you can earn like 18% on stablecoins on Iron Finance. Yes, they have products coming up, but like to be honest, like who's actually bullish for new Iron Finance products, right? Like not me for sure. And I believe that Alameda is also in this, and they're dumping tokens in perpetuity. So anyone that's like holding the ICE token, hoping it goes up, like I don't know what to tell you. God bless you. I hope it works out for you, but I think the ICE token, like everything, like I think the APR is going to keep going down just because more people are selling. This graph is inaccurate because I think it peaked out at like 1.3 billion or something, 1.2 billion. So I think they only added this graph the Iron Finance team did on like July 21st. So it's a little outdated, but it used to be like 1.2, 1.3 billion, and it's slowly going down. And I don't really see a bullish argument for Iron Finance. Like I don't really know what's going to create more excitement for this, right? It's just a stablecoin farm, and the USDT pool on Dino is much better. And like I don't really see the utility for ICE token. Sorry for being bearish ICE and Iron Finance, but I say it like it is, right? I mean, like what's the whole point? So I think that's good. So another bullish case with the VCs is that it's been 16 days since launch, and their tokens are vested over 365 days. So like a bullish take is like it's gonna take them a few months for them to show a profit. So it doesn't mean that they're not selling, right? This doesn't mean that they haven't started selling. I don't know like what they're doing, but they could have a strategy of like, okay, let's offload 1% of our position every 2 days, right? And just slowly take profits. That could be their strategy. Like I don't know, but they're for sure not dumping everything at once right now, right? This is because it's been 16 days. Their tokens are vested over 365 days. I think it's going to take them a longer time for them to show a profit. So I think they'll be incentivized to hold. And like even if they think the Dino price is overvalued, I feel like game theory wise, they're not really incentivized to dump the price too much, just because it'll create negative sentiments towards the Dinoswap project. And like it's not in their best interest, right? Like if you're a VC, like why not sell very, very slowly over a long period of time, maintain the token price, get retail investors excited, instead of just like dumping everything all at once. I don't really see it, but like I mentioned, in the documentation, the VCs said, or the investors and advisors have 15% of the tokens. I think the real number is closer to 20 to 25%, just because they're farming it themselves. So in terms of like effects on price, I think the VCs have a lot of power. So it's always a risk that you should consider. Yeah, and that's like the whole thesis behind the Stegosaurus, right? I said this from day one. I think the investors will slowly sell over a long period of time, the Stegosaurus pattern, right? You don't, like, as humble yield farmers, you don't need the price of Dino to go up a lot, right? As long as it maintains its price, the high APYs will make up for it. That's the whole point. Yeah, and also I got this bullish, I got a pretty good take from Alpariv, like what's tomato avatar, from someone in the Discord, on my Discord. It's free. Link is in the description below. But the bull case is that I'm just gonna read this, just because I think it's a good take. Dinoswap actually becomes the pancake of Polygon with TVL in the billions, right? Maybe 1 to 2 billion, maybe 3 billion, like best case scenario. And maybe people move over from Binance Smart Chain to Polygon, just because Binance Smart Chain has a bunch of rugs and maybe people don't trust it as much. There's gonna be lots of demand for Dino, cool cross-chain collabs with like UST and Harmony, good burning mechanisms through gamification, keep the price stable, 5 to 10 range. Okay, that's super bullish. I don't really see this thing going to $10. Maybe I'm too bearish, but I try to be more conservative and like be grounded. But in 1 year we can all buy new tractors, like electric tractors. I don't think this thing will be a good farm a year from now, but who knows? I could be wrong. I entered this just because I thought it was a good short-term farm. Short-term meaning like a month or two. But who knows, right? Like my thesis can change because like Dino Swap 2 weeks ago and the Dino Swap of today is completely different. The team has far exceeded my expectations in terms of like how quickly they're shipping products and how good their communication is. But that can change obviously. But the bear case, in a couple of weeks, this beautiful happy farm becomes a bloody slaughterhouse. Investors exit the project because of the team not delivering or other shady stuff. Price drops 70%, goes to 50 cents. Our dreams are broken forever. Taiki becomes a meme. Like all my subscribers are mad at me. I become the poster child for just like getting people wrecked, right? And all this happens while I'm sleeping. That's a bullish case. You have to admit that there is a chance for both of these scenarios happening, right? I think the Stegosaurus thesis is like the most likely, right? I assign that to like a 50-60% chance, like whatever, pulling these numbers out of my ass, but let's say 60% chance the Stegosaurus happens, price is like fixed at $2, right? So it's like a $2 stable coin. Bear case, maybe I don't know, like 20%, who knows? Like I said, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, like I have no idea. In the bull case, like maybe 20%, right? I mean, I'm pretty fixated on the Stegosaurus just because I think that's the most likely given the inflation rate and given like the vesting schedules, but who knows, right? I know it doesn't sound good, the bear case, but someone has to say it, right? I mean, I have to fuck my own bags because if you don't consider what could potentially go wrong, then you're just gonna get wrecked at some point, right? So it's gotta be humble. You just gotta be humble. You can't, or maybe I don't want to say you can't, but you can't always go for like 10x's, right? Like getting like 2x's, right? And it's like remaining humble, taking profits, even if it does 10x, right? You just got to be happy with the result, right? Because with crypto, you got to have a long-term mindset, right? I mean, imagine like 10 years from now, like if you earn like 50% APY on your crypto assets, most likely you're going to be making it, right? So let's all be humble, and hopefully this presentation has given you a better understanding of what could go wrong, what could go right, and hopefully you can take this and apply it to whatever situation you're in, whether you're not in it, or you have 100% net worth and you're really, really scared and you're like you can barely get any sleep at night. So before profit taking strategies, I'm just gonna go to the chat, see if anyone has any questions, and maybe if I overlooked anything, I'm more than happy, because I asked this on my Discord and Twitter. Like no one actually gave good answers, right? Everyone's just like, oh yeah, Dino to the moon, or investors are gonna dump on your face, which I mean, I get those takes, right? But that's like a 10-second take that has like it's a lazy take, right? Is there anything that I'm missing? What could go wrong? What could go right? And while you guys type those, I'm gonna be drinking some coffee. Taiki's already a meme. Yeah. I mean, I am a meme, right? I mean, I fucking bought a farmer hat and a rake, right? Like on Amazon. Like what is wrong with me? And I got those Pepe Frog memes. I feel like I mean, my background is like business marketing. So it's one of those things where like, I kind of established the farmer Pepe meme. So like if anyone tries to use it, it's just cringe, right? It's like, oh dude, you're just trying to copy Taiki. Like, what are you doing? So I kind of own it, right? So yeah, I think it's funny. Yeah, I think I used to like brush off memes as like just like some joke, but memes are really important in crypto because it's just a way to like get your thoughts across and not be serious and throw some humor in. And also, I guess like actually, I'll discuss this later. Actually, yeah, extinction pools, Jurassic pools, extinction pools. I don't really get the point of it. That's coming from someone in Dino USDC pool, right? So I feel like I should just stay in that one. But obviously, it's different for different people, and that's the whole point of Dino Swap. There's different products for different people. I'm in Dino USDC, so like, there's no point in me going to extinction pools. But if you're someone that's in, let's say, the UST USDT pool, right, and you really don't care for the Dino token, then yeah, like they can farm it, they can put it in the extinction pool and like get whatever token that they want, right? I mean, that's totally fine. Or if you're just a super risk averse person, you can farm Dino through a stablecoin pair, put it in the Jurassic pool for UST and get dollars out of it, right? I mean, I don't really like, there's different products for different people, and I think that's why it's been so successful. You can't just look at Dinoswap from your perspective. It's like, why would anyone do this? It's so dumb. Well, there's people in other like fossil farms that where like the extinction pool makes sense for them, right? Like, who knows? Let's see. Why aren't you bullish on Dino long term? So Dino has infinite supply, right? Meaning that like if this thing is around in 24 months, it's the amount of circulating tokens is going to be insanely high, right? I'm not going to do the math right now, but like it's going to be high. So even if Dino ends up becoming like a $10 billion protocol, right? Even then, like the unit price for Dino is not going to be like that great. And I mean, I guess like even if you're like super bullish, right? Even like the most bullish people out of all the bulls, like you can just look at the charts for Pancake Swap and like maybe that's like the most bullish case, and like Pancake is just going down, right? I mean, it's a great project. I mean, if I was in BSC, I would definitely use Pancake Swap, but I don't think Pancake Swap is going to be that great like a year from now, right? I just don't see it. You got to think about like the math behind these things. It's like tokens, like even if the market cap stays the same, the price will go down just because there's more tokens being introduced every single day. So that's not to say Dino can't be a good farm 6 months from now, right? I remember I was in Polycat in April and I left after like 2 days, right? And Polycat is still doing decent 3 months from now, right? Or 3 months since like when I first joined. If I stayed in Polycat, I'd have a lot more money than I do today. So the thing is like it's impossible to predict how long these things will last. Some farms you can like weigh probabilities and say, okay, like Dino is most likely gonna be around longer than something like whatever degen farm is being released today, just because of the resources. But at the end of the day, I'm a humble yield farmer. I think it's best to remain conservative and be happy if you're proven wrong. I'll take one more question before I get into profit-taking strategies. God, some of these takes are just not that great. Let's see. Okay. Okay, well, also I guess one thing on that is like, yeah, like that the Dino Swap farm is like pretty good for like all types of people. I mean, I think that's the appeal of it. Like me, like I'm speculating on Dino holding its price, right? And I'm like, I'm a DGN yield farmer. That's fine. But if you're a risk averse person, you can just be in the stablecoin pool, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And given the investors and given the quality team, I think the chance of rug is very unlikely. So, you can just enter the stablecoin farm, and like that could be a good product for you. So, I think Dino is a form that appeals to a lot more people than like some random farm. Okay, anyways, yeah. So let's discuss like profit taking strategies. So full disclosure, I have not taken any profits yet. Yeah, I mean, I can show you, I guess, but yeah, I haven't taken any profits yet. But let's discuss how people should think about taking profits. Yeah, let's just get into that. So before I get into it, I need to ask this question. This is an open question. So for me, like, you're a viewer of the Humble Farmer, Taiki channel. Like, what's the most ethical way for me to take profits, right? Because I don't want to be one of the I don't want to be the bad guy, right? I don't want to be like the Scott Milker, right? I want to be the good guy on crypto YouTube that does not dump on their followers. And I feel like I'm always like, I guess, self-conscious about like talking about Dino just because I don't want to be seen as the guy that's pumping it. So like what is the most ethical way, right? Because I still want to make money, right? So I'm not gonna be like, I'm never selling. I mean, I'm gonna sell. I gotta be humble. I gotta take profits. But what's the most ethical way for me to do that? Like, I'll go over like what I think is a good way to like announce. But I guess I want to like crowdsource answers from you guys. Dump on us, daddy. Take profits, bro, please. I'll pay you to take profits. I just like to know why it looks like an 8-year-old came up with the user interface. Dump it. Most ethical. Take out your initial investment and sell all your farms. There is no ethical. Yeah, I guess DCA out. That's fine, right? Okay, it's good to see that people. It seems like the sentiment is like people don't really care. It's just like you do you, right? And yeah, ideally, like that's what. Ideally, I just do myself. I just do whatever I do, and like people don't get mad at me. I mean, I don't like. I mean, I do have a pretty thick skin, but I think it will be annoying if like people accuse me of stuff. So I just want to like make sure that I don't do anything shady. Yeah, even the dog yelled. So yeah, my pug is telling me to like, yo, please take profits on Dino so you can buy me more new toys. Yeah, like that could be a good strategy, right? Okay, so seems like as long as like I'm transparent and like I feel like as long as like I'm not making these videos of like Dino to $30 and I just like sell into the pump, I think that's fine. Okay, that's cool. So I mean, when I was making this this presentation, I didn't really know how to think about it. So essentially the way I was planning to tell you guys was like, oh yeah, first of all, before I get into it, like I could be a forced seller, right? Like my health factor is like 1.48 or something on Aave, and if Bitcoin dumps 10% like in an hour, then like I'll be a forced seller for Dino. I have to take profits. This is kind of going off of like the market volatility being a bearish case for Dino, right? If Bitcoin dumps, then I don't want to be liquidated, so I'll take profits. So yeah, that's one case, right? Like don't get liquidated. And I guess what I had in mind is like, I'll probably start taking some profits next week, right? I'll just announce it, right? I'll just announce I'm not going to sell today, right? So feel free to front run me in your selling or your dollar cost average selling. But starting Monday, I'll start to think about selling, and depending on market conditions, I might sell Monday, I might sell Friday. I don't know. I might not even sell at all. But, you know, like, just expect me to start like taking profits, be a humble yield farmer starting Monday. So, you know, this is the first time I'm sure in crypto YouTube that, you know, you had a chance to, you know, sell before the influencer. So, you know, I encourage everyone to take this opportunity to dump on my face. Yeah, just don't be like Scott Melker. I agree. I'm not going to be a Scott Melker. I don't know how that guy has so many followers. He just dumps on his followers. And at the end of the day, you're the one clicking. You're the one clicking your buttons, right? Like, don't just listen to some random guy on the internet for financial advice. I'm just farming myself. I'm just doing the research, and I'm just making videos on it. Like, I don't know how much of your net worth you have in Dinoswap. Like, if you're having trouble sleeping, then like maybe you should take some risk off, right? I mean, you gotta do what's best for you. Like, I'm just simply providing research and different opinions. So, you know, it shouldn't really matter what I'm doing at the end of the day. You know, I'm just a humble farmer. Like I mentioned, I'm not in Dinoswap to make a 10x. When I got in, I was expecting like a 2 to 3x, right? 16 days in, like, it's already exceeded my expectations. So maybe that's too bearish, but, you know, like, you gotta do what's best for you, right? You're the one flinging money around these things. You're the one clicking buttons. So, you know, the saying goes, like, if you get rugged, it's on you. If I get rugged, it's on me. I'm not going to blame anyone. It is what it is, right? DeFi can be dangerous. DeFi can also be very amazing when it comes to the yield you can get. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, dump on my face. Okay. Let's see if the price of Dino. Oh shit, it's going up. But let's see if, you know, there's a lag, right? You know, please dump on. Okay, Sunday you can dump on my face. Okay, today is the day that you can dump on my face. But starting tomorrow, I might be dumping on your face. Like, you know, I don't know. Like, I have to. I simply cannot like say that, you know, I'm gonna sell in 4 days, because that's fixed mindset, right? I have to be nimble. I have to look at TV. I have to look at the team, like, you know, like, you know, all the metrics and stuff that you can like look out for, and then make a decision. But, you know, it'll be funny if people start selling. Yeah, because the goal of this channel, like, I do want to be a meme, right? I feel like it's powerful to be a meme. It's like a week from now, like, if the price of Dino is like at $2 or something, then I can pinpoint exactly the day where I told my audience to dump on me, and though I'll be less rich by then, I think it'll be more fun, and it's cool. Yeah. Maybe I think we have to do some dinosaur TA, right? Because I think it's, hold on, was it this one? Let's see. Stegosaurus. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Like, do you have any like dinosaur TA that you can share with me? Because me personally, I'm still like conservative, and I believe in the Stegosaurus, but, you know, maybe it's this, right? Maybe it's the Concavinator, and we're like right here, right? Like, who knows? Like, I need some more dinosaurs, because, like, I didn't really pay attention in history class, so I don't really know what kind of dinosaurs exist. I definitely did not know that this thing exists, like the Sauroposeidon. This is for the Moon Boys. You know, what other dinosaurs are there that Dino can potentially mimic, right, in terms of price action? Dumping on me now. Yes, please. Let's see. Bitcoin still stable. All right, so Stegosaurus, yeah, Stegosaurus. I think people like Stegosauruses. You know, maybe it's possible that this happens, right? This is pretty bullish. Okay. Well, anyways, I'll take any last questions about Dinoswap, and then I'll move into the AMA. I think I got like 69 questions. Okay, now it's at 72. But I had 69 questions, and that was pretty funny. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. have not sold, boys. So dump on me. The funny thing is, like, I'm providing liquidity for Dino USDC, right? And a good way to think about, this pool too, this liquidity pool is like, I am providing liquidity, or essentially I'm being paid this 78,000% APY in order for you to use me as your exit liquidity, right? Obviously, like this is like tiny compared to like the amount of total liquidity on here, but I feel like that's a good way to think about it. Like, I'm being paid a lot of tokens in order to be the exit liquidity for other people. Glyptodon. Okay, hold on. Let's look up Glyptodon. What the fuck is this, dude? There is no way. This is so bearish. This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. What the? Looks like a testicle, dude. Okay, well. Is this even... Okay. I'm not a fan of that. That's a bearish take. That's a very bearish take. Okay, anyways, okay. I bet all the VCs hate you right now. Maybe, man, I don't know. Yeah. VCs are like, fuck. Imagine like the VCs like tuning into this live stream. They're like, please pump our bags, please. And they're like, and Taiki's like, yeah, dump on my face. Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, yeah, I'll move on to the AMA. Feels like no one's really asking any questions. Yeah, I feel like no one's asking any questions, so I'm gonna go to the AMA section where, yeah, like, I'm sure most of you know this, but I like asking questions that are submitted beforehand, just because I can filter out all the bad questions. So I guess this is kind of related to Dinoswap, but like impermanent loss when you hyper compound, usually I don't like for something like Dinoswap, I don't really care about impermanent loss. Like, I'm just here to collect the yield. But if you're like hyper compounding into like Bitcoin ETH, then maybe you should care about like how healthy Bitcoin or ETH looks. Generally, I don't really think impermanent loss is a bad thing. It's just like the cost. It's just like the price you pay to diversify and the price you pay to like farm whatever token that you're farming. So, I don't really care too much for impermanent loss, just because, it's just like it's just the cost to diversify. I get this a lot too. Like, what's the next Dino Swap? The short answer is like there really isn't the next Dino Swap, right? Because if you remember, I haven't entered a DGen yield farm in 2 months before Dino, right? Two freaking months, right? And I run a yield farming channel, so for me to be that bearish, like a DGen yield farm, like it's saying something, right? And like for me to be that bearish and still enter Dinoswap, that's saying something. So maybe like the next great farm on Polygon is going to take 2 months. Like, I don't know. I don't know what people are working on, but like I did the research, I entered it, worked out well. So, you can't just ask me like, okay, what do I ape into next? Because, like sometimes the best move is no move. You never know. Gotta be humble. I mean, okay, it's USDC, but yeah, it's gonna go down every day, right? I mean, Dino USDC, it's gonna go down every single day. I mean, that's the whole point, right? I mean, more people will provide liquidity. Maybe the price goes down, APR goes down. That's the whole point. But that's fine, because even at whatever this thing is, APY is still 78,000. I don't really care about impermanent loss. Like, that's very, very good yield. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is like profit taking. It's like, yeah, like I get some DMs, or I get tagged in like random tweets. It's like, yo, like I aped into Dino. Like, when do I sell? Like, it's up to you, man. Like, it's your money. It's not my money. So like, why are you asking me, right? Just like do what's best for you. Like, given maybe the information today helped, like maybe you should stay, maybe you should leave. And if you don't know, if you simply do not know, then maybe it's best to like just take off exposure, right? Someone mentioned like take out your cost basis and then play with the house's money. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that before, right? My friend who works at a fund, like his personal method is like whenever he buys something and the price goes up 3x, he sells a third of his position, right? So if he puts in 1,000, it goes to 3,000, he sells 1,000, right? So he's playing with the house's money. Maybe that's a very, very humble way for you to approach it. Maybe I'm too aggressive. Maybe I should, be more humble. But gotta be humble at the end of the day. Yeah, so I am working on a Patreon of some sort, because most of you know that I don't run ads on this channel. I don't do any paid shills, right? My thoughts are my own. I don't monetize this YouTube channel. So I wanted to follow something similar to Benjamin Cohen's channel, where his YouTube is free, and it's like free alpha, but his paid group is more alpha, right? So it's kind of like a freemium model. It's like, if you want more alpha, if you want like daily updates from me, join the Patreon. If not, it's fine. Like I'll still post videos like 3-4 times a week. And I'm working on it, probably coming after I go to Vegas in September. Yeah, I'm beating a dead horse. It's up to you, man. Okay, so I get this every single video, but short answer is, I think there's a chart somewhere. If you compound twice a day by yourself, then you essentially like your performance will be similar to using an auto compounder like Beefy or AutoFarm, especially if you take into account their performance fee, withdrawal fee, whatever fees, right? So why would I like outsource my compounding to a third party when I can do it myself and not really underperform? Also, I don't want to be exposed to additional smart contract risk. Don't get me wrong, if you're going on vacation or if you have a full-time job and you don't want to, remember like clicking buttons, then yeah, using Beefy or AutoFarm could be good for you. But me personally, I like doing things myself. And I get this a lot, so I'll just probably make a video next week or in 2 weeks explaining it. Yeah, so I have a video on this. So hold on, hold on. Let me pull up my Aave so you can see. Health factor. So essentially, you have to click here, liquidation threshold, right? 76.34%. And then the simple math is you take this. So let's just be conservative. Let's just say 13K and 77%. So take that, divide it by 77%, and essentially you're going to get liquidated if your collateral reaches that. Which, could happen, obviously, but that's how you do it. I'm doing a pretty risky, strategy of like just keep adding to my position to avoid the swap fees that I pay on SushiSwap and etc. and the slippage. But it's worked out for me so far. But yeah, if Bitcoin dumps, then I have to like take profits, obviously. Now, this is a more thought-provoking question. Maybe I know Danku's in the chat somewhere, so maybe he can answer it. But the majority of Terra protocols are spun off Anchor Earn. Essentially, like how can Terra incentivize borrowing besides yield farming? Because I believe that Anchor pays out like 20%, but some of it comes off like the reserves, right? Which is not sustainable. So how can it maintain a sustainable ecosystem? Well, I think the simple explanation is like there has to be more applications built on Terra, right? Right now it's just like Mirror and Anchor. Like it's not that exciting, right? Right now I'm on Mirror Anchor earning like pretty good yield, and like Luna went up a lot, so I'm up money on that too. But like for people to borrow money, there has to be like a reason to borrow money, right? And right now there's not that many reasons to borrow money. So if Terra can have like more products, then there's going to be incentive to borrow. Because you can argue that on Aave, I don't really have an incentive to borrow, right? It's like I'm paying 2% interest. Why would I borrow? But I'm paying 2% interest to farm on Dino, right? That's my incentive, right? So if there's a reason there has to be a reason to borrow in order for more people to borrow, essentially. You mentioned you were studying Pio. What is that, and did you enjoy it? So I'll probably make a video about poker soon, comparing poker and yield farming, because I do think it's pretty similar. But last year I played poker full time, online poker, and Pio it's Pio Solver. It's a poker game theory calculator is like the simplest way to explain it. A lot of people think poker is about having reads and poker face, but that's completely false. Poker is a mathematical and game theory based game. And essentially, like last year, I was quarantined, so I was like, I spent most of my time like studying, programs like this. And here's like a little, I guess poker alpha is like, essentially like this poker, Pio is spitting out this perfect solution, right? So on this ace-9-3 no flush draw board, the optimal strategy is like having 3 bet sizes and checking 16.74% at a time. And in a 19 chip pot, you see the pot size here, 19 chip pot, your EV is 13.396. So if you play this spot a million times, then on average, you can expect to capture 13.4 chips out of a 19 chip pot. So I'm doing really, really well for myself. But obviously I'm a human. No one's smart enough to mimic this completely. So what poker players do is simplifying, right? So what if, we already bet 6 chips 79% of the time. What if we do it 100% of the time? Well, we see that, hey, like I can simplify my strategy by, range betting my entire array of hands I can have for a 6 chip sizing, and I can capture 13.33 chips. Obviously, I'm sacrificing EV by having this simplified strategy, but as a human, there's no way to play a perfect strategy. So in poker, there's a lot of spots where, we study these spots, we simplify our strategy to minimize EV loss and still like have a winning strategy. So I'm sorry if that went over your head, but I think poker players can appreciate this. Yeah. I also like these types of questions about like, if you could start all over again, like what would you do, right? DeFi journey. Yeah. I think in hindsight, I think I would always want to have like a stablecoin stack of like 10 to 20%, right? Or 25-30%, depending on how risk averse you are. Because I got into crypto last year, but like I used to have like 100% long crypto portfolio, which is obviously really, really dangerous. It felt great on the way up, but on the way down, it was scary. I didn't have 100% exposure like in May, but I used to. So I think with the yield farming, I think it always pays to have a stablecoin stack, and also like not to buy farm tokens. If you go back to my channel, I have a video on like being bullish Badger, for example. Don't get me wrong, Badger, good project, but the Badger token is a farm token, right? It's just being emitted out of the ass, like out of the wazoo, and the whales are dumping it like for profits. So like, no matter how good a project is, like if the governance token is a farm token, then it's unlikely to do well, right? In a bubble, when like if everything is going up, then it'll go up, but I would like try to avoid farm tokens, and I would focus more of my investments into something like Luna, because the tokenomics are better. Like obviously like I own Luna full disclosure, but the Luna tokenomics makes a lot more sense than some random governance token, right? Because governance tokens are just a meme, right? Essentially with Luna, I'm simplifying it here, so it's like not 100%. Like you have to do your own like more research, but explaining it like I'm 5. Like if there's demand for UST, right? If more people want UST to like farm or something, then Luna has to be burnt, right? Where arbitragers will burn Luna, right? So you can think of it as more people want UST, Luna has to go up. If less people want UST, Luna goes down. So that's why the Dinoswap partnership is really important, right? And I think Do Kwon of Terra did a good job structuring it, because this thing already has like 70 million in liquidity, right? So that's $35 million worth of UST that came from other ecosystems into Polygon. So there's more demand for UST, and Luna is going up. I don't know if it's going up because of Dinoswap, but I think the tokenomics for Luna makes more sense than some random governance token like Comp or Aave, or like whatever, right? Don't get me wrong, governance tokens can do well, but I think it's higher EV to hold something like Luna. Those tokenomics, I think it makes more sense. Yeah, so for something like HI crypto, or I guess with anything, right? When you're providing liquidity, there's 2 sources of yield, right? One is from the swap fees, right? So people pay a fee to swap and you capture some of that. And the other comes from like token rewards, right? So there's two yields, right? If you go to Curve, there's like the base APY and like the rewards. So the rewards, it doesn't really matter if people are using it, you'll still get them. But the base APY, you can only receive them if people are swapping. So, you know, that's how things work. Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of covered Luna, but I mean, Luna has done really well. I mean, I got in, I don't know, like right here, 750-ish, and it's up almost 50%. So, I mean, I'm not even close to being liquidated, so I'm just happy, you know, holding it for the time being. I think I'm being paid like 30 to 40% to borrow, which is nice. So I have no plans of selling. I think Luna is a good token. Not financial advice, but I think it's a good one to own for the long term. Always do your own research. And I have videos on Luna, so look at that if you want more answers. Yeah, I mean, this is part of the bearish case for Dino, right? If Bitcoin just dumps, then it's bad for Dinoswap. So yeah, I do look at BTC and see what it's doing and you know, make decisions that way. Like part of the reason I'm so aggressive when it comes to this strategy, right, the obvious strategy, is because BTC looks really, really bullish. And I don't think it's going to dump 20% overnight, right? It might dump 20% over a course of a week, right? But I'm not going to be liquidated that way. So you have to look at the macro to make decisions. Yeah, so yeah, podcast with 0x Cole, I think one of the best podcasts I've ever done. He said that the only two things he's stacking is Curve and Sushi. My thoughts on those tokens, I really like Curve and Sushi. Anyone that uses Polygon regularly, like, know how powerful these applications are, especially Curve. It's so capital efficient. It's amazing. I personally don't own any. Actually, I farmed some Curve, right? I have like 20 or something, but I mean, I didn't buy them. I just farmed it. I think they're good, but inflation is super high, so I'm iffy about owning it. Like, farm tokens are kind of to me, right, longer term. But I do think Sushi is undervalued, Curve is undervalued, but I don't know how long it'll take to play out. Second part of the question, like, I'm not that bullish Define and Chi, right? I mean, my perspective was like, okay, at the time, these were the best stablecoin yields, so I'm just gonna farm them. Like, I'm just being like, that's part of being a farmer, right? It's just like, don't marry any token, take profits when it's a good time. Like I farmed Chi when it was 30 cents. I sold it at $3, and now with the rest of my stack, I have it locked for a year. You know, so I don't care if it goes to zero. Define, I'm also staking it. I think I staked it for like 8 months or something at 80% APY or something. Like, these are just moon bags that I'm not like bullish. I'm just like, okay, I hope it goes up. If it goes up, then I'm gonna dump them on people's faces. Okay, I cover this. Yeah, you can just use stable pools. Yeah, I'm beating a dead horse. Like, you do you. It's your money. Yeah, so I think anyone that's trying to be a farmer has to have a Twitter account, even if you don't like Twitter. It's like a way for you to like see like good posts and like news. So I recommend just follow like, I guess, any crypto account with like 100,000 followers. Most of them are like, I mean, not most. Some of them are like aren't great followers, but you kind of have to follow like people in different, I guess, sectors. So me personally, I follow a bunch of farmers. I follow some people in the NFT space. I follow VCs, and I follow traders, right? And like, I mean, today, like, I'm getting a bunch of NFT tweets, right? So, you know, the NFT space seems to be picking up. So, you know, maybe I have my eyes on that. The other day, like, people are calling for like 20K Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, like, people are getting really, really, really bearish, right? And I mean, it's just like a way for you to gauge sentiment, like hear news, because, you know, I sometimes like, I mean, most of the time, like, I should post on Twitter. My highest engagement tweet is this Michael Saylor tweet. This was like the absolute bottom of Bitcoin, like 29K. This was like, you know, this thing has 3,100 likes. I post so much, like, or I guess not that much, but I post some like, I guess, alpha tweets that gets like 30 likes, and then Michael Saylor gets 3,100 likes. So yeah, just follow people on Twitter. Yeah, so shout out to Danku R. I gave him a shout out. Actually, let me just. He has a pretty good channel. This one, just look this up on YouTube. He like covers Terra, but I think he went over like Mercurial finance. I think you can earn like 50% on stablecoins. I forget. I mean, humble farmer thesis. Like, I'm not deploying any capital on Solana, right? It's just like there's no money market. I'm not interested. But you know, if you're interested in like having funds on Solana, I think Mercurial. Like, I have not done any research, right? I don't know how safe this is, but 50% or something on stables, it's pretty cool. But I mean, I'm not endorsing this because I have done zero research, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I bought Thorchain like a little under $6 just because like it like went up on bad news. So that's like a good indicator of like a local bottom. I'm not holding Thorchain for the long term just because like the hacks have been kind of scary. But I can see Thorchain pumping like maybe like the double digits and they'll take profits, right? It's a short-term trade. I do like the project though. I do like the tokenomics. I think it's a good one. But yeah, the hacks have been scary. Rari governance token. This is a really interesting one. So essentially Rari aligns really well with my humble farmer thesis because Rari essentially allows anyone to create their own money market, right? So if I wanted to, I can create a humble farmer money market where I can like decide, or I can like add random assets as like potential collateral and like have people borrow against it. And I think like other chains should consider like using Rari, I guess, if it's even possible. Like for example, like I feel like if Phantom uses RGT like Rari, that's pretty bullish. The one downside is like they were exploited once, and for money markets, being exploited is like really bearish. Just because even if they fix it, like if they get exploited once, that kind of sticks with it kind of sticks with the market like forever, right? Like everyone's gonna be saying like, wait, didn't they get hacked once? Didn't they get exploited once? And it doesn't really inspire confidence because money markets are supposed to attract billions of TVL, and the potential of getting hacked is really bad. But RGT, I'm really interested. Their team is like all under 20, like 20 years old, which is I don't know if that's bullish or bearish, but I mean, I think their product is really cool. I love money markets. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer this question, but I mean, better investors, more money, better advisors, and maybe the team doxes themselves, right? So we all know who they are. So like that way, I can do research on like, okay, like what have they made in the past or something. Three more questions. Okay, two more because I already answered this. Let's scrap that. Okay, so last question. What are your thoughts on Olympus? I like Ohm because I think what they're trying to do is very noble, right? They're trying to be the central bank of the crypto space. I mean, I like it, but I don't own any, and I don't really plan on owning any in the near term. But if this thing goes down to like $50, I will buy some, just because, you know, this Ohm is a potential moon bag. It's weird because every Ohm is backed by one DAI, so like one Ohm can never go below one DAI. But there's obviously been like a crazy premium, just because you can earn like 100,000% APY or whatever on Ohm. It kind of sounds like a Ponzi, and it kind of is a Ponzi. But if you actually like look into their ambitions, I can kind of get behind that. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, like maybe there's like a 2% chance this does work, but like it's like a 2% chance, right? So like maybe I'll allocate 1% of the portfolio to Olympus or something. But you know, I think this is something that people should look out for. It's interesting. When you read about it the first time, you'll think it's a Ponzi, right? And then 3 months later, you'll hear about it again, and you're like, huh, interesting, right? It's kind of like Bitcoin, right? When I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought it was a Ponzi, and then I learned about it, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So it's one of those things. Like, I don't know if it'll work. I don't own any, obviously, like I said. So yeah. So that being said, I'll answer any questions that people might have in the chat. I'm gonna drink some water, drink some coffee to hydrate, and then yeah, depending on the quality of the questions, the quantity of the questions, I might stick around for longer. Let's see. Damn, I guess reverse psychology, right? It's like, I tell you guys to dump on my face, but you guys are pumping my bags. What the fuck? No. I'm asking you guys to dump on my face. Like I said, I will start thinking about taking profits starting tomorrow, right? So, I mean, who knows? I might start selling tomorrow, guys. You gotta dump on my face. I still own Rook, yeah. I'm a bag holder, obviously. I do like Keeper DAO. If you keep up with the MEV space, what is it? Sorry if this goes over people's heads, but I do like what Flashbots is doing, right? Like basically taking some transactions off chain and like letting people like pay miners directly, so people don't have to pay for high gas. Excuse me. But I don't really think that outsourcing, or I don't really think that having like a separate auction mechanisms off chain to miners is a sustainable and scaling solution. I think to mitigate MEV, some edits has to be made on the protocol layer through the hiding game. Okay, I'm not going to go over Keeper DAO in this live stream just because it's too complicated and people are going to get bored, but I still own some, yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on Blue Bottle? Blue Bottle's okay. I mean, actually, it's probably one of the better ones. I'm a cold brew guy. I think Pete's has the best cold brew. So whenever I make cold brew at home, I like buy Pete's ground coffee. But I mean, I would never buy blue bottle stuff just because it's so expensive, right? Like, you know, like I need to save money because I want to farm. Damn, dude, save some water for the farms. Yeah, like, you know, like my farm, it's 100% organic, right? I don't use pesticides, so I gotta use some filtered water. It's really expensive, but hey, people love organic stuff. Would I ever work for a crypto company? Maybe, but I kind of like what I'm doing here. I'm just like some random dude on the internet creating like a humble farmer army. I think that's pretty powerful. Someone is just spamming dump on my face, and that's fine, I guess. Yeah, feel free to dump on my face. Oh, who's my favorite poker player? That's a good one. The most impactful poker player is definitely Doug Polk, because he kind of got me into poker, and watching his videos like made me a lot of money, so, and got me into poker, so I thank him for that. But now I think my favorite poker player is no longer Doug Polk because he's basically retired. But maybe Jason Kuhn. I really like Jason Kuhn. Like that guy, he's super buff. He's really good. Like, yeah, he's really good at cash games. Really good at tournaments. Really humble. He works out a lot. I respect that. And he's been in the poker game for so long. Let's see. you're gonna trademark humble farmer. Thing is, I don't have to, right? I feel like I've already established the humble farmer meme, so anyone that tries to take it away from me is gonna be super cringe. A good yield farmer Twitter profile is crypto yield info. Actually, I can show it to you. Actually, he's a good one. Who else is good? Who else is a good farmer? I mean, there's like a degen yield. Wait, no. Actually, yeah, degen Spartan is a good one. He's really good. He like disappears. He's like barely on Twitter, but whenever he posts, it's like. Actually, yeah, it's gonna look weird, but like he posts like a bunch of hentai stuff, but like he shares so much alpha. I think degen Spartan is one of the like subtle alpha Twitter accounts. Let me try to find an example. Let's see. Oh, for this, for example, right? Like it's like, you know, Anthony Pompliano and like the Bitcoin lovers tend to have like these on-chain analysts. And don't get me wrong, I respect Will Clemente. I think he's like 19 or 20. I mean, when I was 19 or 20, I was a complete dipshit. So like the fact that he's like doing all this, I really admire that. But I think Clemente said in an interview that like, you know, like new people are not buying, strong hands are buying, which is bullish. Well, degen Spartan says, well, I disagree with that. Like long-term holders buying more Bitcoin is actually bearish, right? Because in order for price to go up, more people has to be buying. So you kind of want, like, I guess weaker hands to keep entering the space, because long-term holders is not going to be enough to sustain the price. Stuff like that. Yeah, like you can't be a hero and defend prices. You gotta be humble, right? You want to look for a turning point where long-term holders are done accumulating and short-term holders are done selling and now buying. Anyways, I don't want my channel to be banned, so I'm no longer going to scroll through that, but let's see. No, I'm not a fan of Daniel Negreanu. I like him, but like he's definitely... I respect Daniel Negreanu. He used to be pretty bad, but I think he spent a lot of time studying in the past year or so. Let's see. Dino doubled, did they? Oh shit, they did. They turned this from a 2x to a 4x, and now you can... Oh, that's cool. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm just going to be humbly farming in the USDC pool, but that's cool. What's my take on it? I mean, hey, it's definitely like more risky, right? Because you're gaining ETH exposure, right? So if ETH dumps, then you're kind of sad. But I mean, that's why I'm just like, I'm okay just like collecting this Dino USDC just because USDC is stable, whatever. But hey, I mean, if that APR, if 900% APR piques your interest, then go for it. Okay, well, I think the questions are kind of slowing down, so I'm gonna end the stream soon. I've been going for like 90 minutes. Okay, so I'll probably stop the stream at 3:30 my time. I guess one last thing I'll say is like, I know people throw around the phrase pancake swap of Polygon. This was thrown around first by Joseph Young, and you know, people just say it because, you know, everyone wants it to be like the next PancakeSwap of Polygon, right? I mean, I hope it is the next PancakeSwap of Polygon, but that's not how I think about things. Joseph Young, he's actually like one of the investors for Dino, so obviously he's very, very bullish on it. If you scroll down on this Forbes article, yeah, he's backing it as an angel investor, and I guess he also worked for Hashed. So always gotta be wary of who's writing these articles. And it's not that difficult to get an article posted on Forbes. I mean, you can probably pay like a few $100s or $1,000 and get an article posted. So it's not that difficult. What if there's like a new questions? Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. Four more minutes, guys. Get your questions in. What are these questions, man? Like, I'm getting a bunch of NFT questions, but in my opinion, I think everyone wants to like be a pro in like all the crypto sectors, right? It's like NFTs, gaming, trading, farming, but I'm totally content just being really good at farming and being average at trading. I mean, I think it's better to like be a master of one than like a master of none, and just be like, some people are a jack of all trades and they can like, holy shit, it's $4. But some people can be a jack of all trades. But like, I'm just focused on being a humble yield farmer, being a good yield farmer, because, you know, I guess my portfolio strategy is like, I'm gonna own assets long term that I like, and then, you know, I can borrow against that or take stables and just farm with it and just grow my stack over time. You really can't lose, at least in my opinion. Prideful farm. What? I'm going to dump before the stream ends. Please wait. Okay. Well, you better put in a fat candle, or I'll be really disappointed. Let's see. Let's go into the 5-minute time frame. What the hell is this? What the hell, Poocoin? There. Oh god, this is so nasty. I don't want to see that. It's so laggy. What the hell? Yeah, I mean, it's not the best charting tool, but it gets the job done, right? Yeah, 15 minutes. All right, so I better see. What is this? Ryan Collies? Is that even your name? You better put in a fat red candle, or I will be disappointed, right? Because I'm gonna wait for the stream. I'm gonna prolong the stream, just so I can see this candle. Please, let's see it. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I got rugged by Ryan. It's how are the markets doing? Let's see. Oh, Bitcoin's actually down. Interesting. Luna's done really well. ETH is holding up strong. Okay, Ryan. Okay. Well, I guess Ryan sold, but you can't see it in the charts. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let's see. I mentioned one of my bearish cases is if Bitcoin really starts to dump. So we'll see if that holds out. Look at that candle. What the fuck? Who is buying? Like I said, guys, to wrap up the stream, I'm gonna start thinking about selling tomorrow. I don't know when. It depends on many factors. But if you want to sell before me, right, I might make a video about, I sold some Dino. So if you want to like front run me in terms of selling, you should do it today, because I'm not gonna sell today, just so I can remain neutral on the topic. But yeah, summary. Think about the bull and bear case for Dino, right? You got to be humble. Can't just assume it'll go up forever. Last day to sell before Taiki is today, so you can dump on my face. And what else? I guess that's about it, right? I guess take profits if you're like scared. If this is like unnerving for you, there's nothing wrong with taking profits, right? Like, who cares if you take profits and it keeps going up, right? Because whatever you keep in there will also go up over time. And you don't have to hit home runs, right? Like, using a baseball term, like, there's nothing wrong with taking like 4 singles and scoring 2 runs, than like trying to hit a homer every single time, But it's your money, you do you. For my financial sake, I hope Dino works out. But do your own research. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Leave things in the comment section below if I missed out on any bearish cases, because I think I keep thinking about what could go wrong, and I thought I covered them, but maybe there's something worse that could happen, which I'm interested in. So thank you guys for watching. Have a nice rest of the Sunday, and have fun farming out there. Taiki's dumping on your face. Okay. Not today, sir. Not today. Bye. Oh, I guess I was gonna bring my pug, but he's asleep, so alright.